Okay everyone, so as promised, this is once again Alex with Deathscape Games, and coming at you in regards to recording from your home with a low budget. Just to confirm, there are many different programs out there that you can use to record audio. You can use your Microsoft Sound Recorder. You can find a free copy of Audacity easily online. There's Audacity. There is Sony, I believe Acid. There are different programs out there. I am lucky enough to actually have a copy of Adobe Sound Booth, and this was the program that I had used in creating the sound files for the player model and editing the sound files that I found online. Many of the sound effects that were pulled were found on DR-free sites, or sites that allowed you to take sound effects off their site, and possibly donate. So be careful what you take and what you use if you plan on publishing your game, but you will find a lot on the internet. Google is an amazing tool in searching and finding what you want and what you need. My word of advice is never stop at the first sound you find. You might find one sound and you'll be like, okay, this is good, and then as you're shopping for a sound for something completely different, you might find a sound for something you already thought you had selected. For instance, I had a fireball sound, and I was like, okay, this is good, and then I came across another, so I was like, wow, that's even better for the fireball. And then later on, I found another sound that was even better, and so, shop around. You always find something better, especially when it's free. So what I would like to show you at this time, if I can just pull my camera off here, my little studio setup here. Okay, so what I've found here, as someone who has worked in underground hip-hop and R&B recording, taking a sock, of course a new clean sock, and putting it over your microphone actually works as a decent popper. It's the oldest trick in the book. It prevents that popping noise you get when you speak into a microphone. It doesn't do an amazing job of preventing it, but it does a decent job of preventing it. And here, just to show you a copy of the program we're using here. We have Adobe Sound Booth, and it'll just take a moment to come up. This program is one of the coolest programs I have ever worked with, seriously. And I've worked with a few sound recording programs. I mean, anybody who has done recording for music purposes has their choice of recording program. But just to give an example here, what we would do is we would open a file, and all the files that I had downloaded were in another file here, which would have said to be edited. And I would download all the files and put them in this folder here, which isn't there any longer because I'm done, but it would say to be edited, and then I would go into this file, pull a file out from there, and then I would edit it. And then after I would edit it, I would put it into the proper folder. So as you can see here, I have my attacks: fire attack, ice attack, lightning attack, rain attack, and then I have switching, which is a new mechanic for when you switch between elements. And then you have the player sounds for when the player speaks, if he gets hit, or if he ends the level successfully, or if he actually dies in the act of battle. Then you have enemy sounds as well, if the enemy attacks, if the enemy spawns, and then if the enemy is terminated. So running the file through here brings up a wave clip. Okay, this is basically the sound if it were to be played. Okay, that would be our fire attack. And pretty much if I wanted to cut it down and resize it, what I would do is I would click, I would drag, right click, and then I would cut. And that's pretty much it. That's just done to resize. Now if you want to lower levels here, this line here you can use to actually snippet this lower line here, and it basically has a balancing effect. When you have overload, I'm sure you've seen the sound meter before where it's green and then it gets to a certain point where it's yellow and then it gets to red. That's called clipping. And then what happens is if this gets beyond a certain point, that clipping effect comes out and the sound doesn't sound clear. So you can actually cut that so that you don't get that effect. And that's pretty much it. So in running this program, we have successfully found our sounds, edited our sounds, and now they are game ready. So now all that's left is for us to put it in with some code and call it a day. So with that being said, I'm going to put you back on this mount, and I'm going to close with saying that this is probably one of my favorite processes in game making. I love working with sound software. I love sound. It's definitely a big portion of the game. You need those audio cues. You need those sound cues, and it kind of adds to the drama of what you're doing. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned something. I know I have. And thank you for following Deathscape Games. Once again, my name is Alex, and I am signing off.